Welcome back, boys. For the Moms recap coming your way. This is a league in which points matter, games matter, and if your quarterback gets hurt, some committee who doesn't think they're smarter than God won't come try to ruin your season. We got the Week 13 recap coming your way. This was the final week of our regular season. Nick, welcome back to the show. How are things going over there?
Things are going pretty well. Let's dive right into it.
All right, first game we have on the docket this week. PC Principal with a monster takedown of Glizz Mafia, 168 to 120. PC Principal would achieve an 11-2 record with this win, giving them the regular season title and the number one overall seed. And really, for this team, it was just the usual suspects going to work. Tua with a nice day of 23. Kamara and Pacheco having big days, 2 touchdowns and 1 touchdown, respectively, good for 30 and 23 points. Tyreek Hill in connection with Tua, as usual, big day out of him, 35 points. And then the specialists in defense rounding it out with McPherson and the Dolphins defense. So, yeah, really just more of the same from Piece Principle here. They're taking some nice momentum in the playoffs. We'll see what lies ahead of them in the postseason if they're able to add a second title to their shelf.
For Glizz Mafia, we had some good and we had some bad. Let's start with the good. Kyron Williams, another nice game, 88 yards on the ground, touchdown, 100 all-purpose yards. Great looking out of him. CeeDee Lamb just continues his absolute tear right now. 116 yards, touchdown, putting up 30 fantasy points. AJ Brown continues to show out north of 100 yards receiving. But we did have some bad on this team this week, unfortunately. We saw Trevor Lawrence go down in the Monday Night Football game with what is believed to be at this point a high ankle sprain. We saw Ramondre Stevenson go down in the New England Patriots game with what is believed to be a high ankle sprain. And we also saw Tank Dell go down with a fractured fibula, and he will be out for the rest of the season. So we want to send our prayers up to them. Speedy recovery for each and every one of them. And just terrible to see them, exit the field this week and possibly be out for some extended time. So hopefully for Glizz Mafia, he's got the depth and the rest of the team's able to step up. But this is definitely a big hit, and we're definitely praying for those players in their recovery process.
All right, moving on to our second game of the week. We had the Philly Cheekels getting a big win. It would be good enough for them to squeak out of the toilet bowl barely. A 155 to 93 takedown of the Pams.
Yeah, for the Philly Cheekels here, really solid week from them. They've been on what I believe was a 4-game skid, and they really needed this one bad. Starting out, ETN, solid night on Monday Night Football as he was able to find the end zone. David Montgomery was also able to find the end zone for this team this week. Sam Laporta looked absolutely incredible in that Lions Saints game, kind of a weird game, but he looked really good, 140 yards and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton found the end zone, and the specialists were really key for this team this week. Matt Gay nailing home 4 field goals. And the Atlanta Falcons defense, getting the luck of the draw and playing the New York Jets, who just are an absolutely terrible football team right now. Both those specialists showed out and led to a big week for the Cheekels here.
All right, on the flip side here for the Pams, they get their namesake award to end the regular season. Seems quite fitting. This team is known for their Week 13 letdowns. It seems like they always get up for the Cleveland Steamers Week 12, and then that emotional dump just comes back to bite them. With the Lamar Jackson on bye this week, they had Baker Mayfield getting the start. He would fail to even get as much as 10 points for them. The running backs and Ayuk were really the only even decent spots for them, but no one on this team was able to get more than 20. You add it all up, they finished with a 93. Like we said, right on brand for this team in Week 13. And I would like to throw in that not starting Cooper Kupp was certainly a decision that would not work out well for them. This team is the bottom seed entering the toilet bowl and would probably be the favorite to jump in the lake right now. We'll see if they'll find a way to escape. And our third game of the week, yours truly, Texas size 10-4s. We were able to grab some much needed momentum heading into the playoffs now, a 2-game win streak, because we got a 139 to 128 victory over Wallace Pluto 84. And for us, we were very happy to see Dak continuing his hot streak right now. 3 touchdowns, 35 points out of him. McCaffrey doing his usual thing, adding 25. Pickens would fill in nicely. We were a little beat up and had Devontae Adams on a bye this week, and then had Kenneth Walker out. So he would find his way in the lineup, able to add 14 for us. Puka Nacua battling like a warrior. He had an AC joint injury, would come back into the game, however, and finish 25 points. Very happy with the performance out of him. Hopefully that injury doesn't bother him as we head in the playoffs with some much needed momentum. The last 2 years prior to this, we lost both our last two regular season games, entering the playoffs, and would come back to bite us with no victories in the playoffs either. So maybe this year with some momentum, that result will change, and we'll be able to capture our first championship.
For Wallace Pluto, I mean, they hats off to them. They tried to jam this, being kind of shorthanded this week with the buys, with some of the injuries they've suffered over the last couple of weeks. They put up near 130 points this week. Honestly, hats off to them. It starts with the receivers. Both Jamar Chase and DK Metcalf showed you why this team can be very scary at times, but when both of those guys are, going off and doing things that they're capable of doing, it's absolutely terrifying to be on the other end of it. Luckily, though, for the 10-4s, the Lions kind of let Noah down a little bit this week. Jared Goff, after that super hot start to the game, I think he had to have 15-ish points in those first 5 to 7 minutes, and then he definitely cooled off the rest of the game. Jahmyr Gibbs only getting 10 opportunities this week. You definitely want to see a little bit more out of him. And then just kind of some other single digits going down here. Wanted to highlight the Commanders defense. The team that's known for their defensive prowess just has been putting up a couple defensive stinkers this year, and it definitely like them kind of ultimate ball this week.
All right, moving on to our fourth game of the week. We had FaZe Kev and the Cleveland Steamers. Cleveland Steamers would get a 158 to 126 victory. Nick, tell us how your boys were able to get it done.
Hey, man, I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. I'm so proud of this team. I mean, from everything that we've been battling through this year with the season-ending injuries, starting out 1-5 to win 5 out of our last 6, and really kind of put the pieces together on the team this year has just been incredible to see. Wanted to first and foremost shout out our running backs, Papa Shad, Rashad White, Zach Charbonnet, both guys that were not here to start the season. We acquired both of them via trade, and both of them were huge pieces for us this week, and will continue to be huge pieces for us moving forward. Devonta Smith, another guy that was not here to start the season, and we acquired him via trade. He'll be a couple more you. We're really excited for everything that he's brought to our team. Debo's been here for a minute, and Debo knows what's up and what we do here. He showed out in that game, 3 touchdowns. He talked all that crap about the Eagles secondary before the game, and he backed it up. He absolutely showed out in that game. But yeah, I mean, again, just really proud of this team for the way that we fought throughout the course of the season. Could have easily, turtled into a shell and kind of just rode the wave out and just looked ahead to next season, but we battled through it. And yeah, we got a couple weeks ahead of us, but again, just really proud of this team.
Yes, so this one was supposed to be a battle to escape the toilet bowl. It would turn out Cleveland Steamers are going to end up in the toilet bowl on the wrong side of some tiebreakers here. But FaZe Kev, with the loss, guaranteed themselves a spot in the toilet bowl as the 8th seed. And just really not the greatest performances out of them. They stuck with CJ Stroud over Matthew Stafford, having Josh Allen on a bye this week. They've clearly shown they have a lot of faith in this young man. It wasn't the right decision, I guess, in the end, but it wouldn't turn out too bad for him, still putting up nearly 20 points. But really just no one behind him able to back that up. The Jets defense was the only player over 20 points with 25 of their own. A lot of skilled players in the team. St. Brown's been having a solid year, but just not quite enough to get it done. We'll see if they're able to escape the toilet bowl. They have a round one matchup with Wallace Pluto. We'll see if they're able to get the job done. And moving on to our 5th and final game of the week, we had Francy Feast They were able to escape the total with a victory in this one, 141 to 121 upset over the Sticky Mistakes, who fall to 7-6 as they head into the playoffs. And for Francy Fuse here, it was really just the story of their vets carrying their young guns. Kyler Murray and B-Rob not having the best days, as you can see at the top here, but their vets would come back behind them and support and enough to get the job done here. Derrick Henry with 27 and Mike Evans with 30. Score one for the old guys there. And then Joe Mixon with 30 of his own on Monday Night Football as the Bengals were able to beat the Jags. You add all that up, it was enough for them to get the job done. They escaped the Toilet Bowl. They will be playing in the Mediocrity Bowl against the Philly Cheekels.
Yeah, for Sticky Mistakes, not the greatest momentum heading into the playoffs, but still a lot of good positives to take away from this week. And we all know they've got a scary man coming off IR next week. So, they're definitely going to be in the thick of things. Brian Robinson, not Bijan Robinson, Brian Robinson ended up going out with a concussion, I believe, during the course of that game. So we hope that he'll be back relatively soon. Najee didn't have the greatest game, 16 carries for 63 yards, nothing crazy. Michael Pittman, though, had a really solid day, 11 catches for over 100 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle was in the single digits. Tyler Conklin in single digits. Zach Moss didn't have the coming back party quite that he was looking for. So just a lot of single digits kind of going down the board here. Defense did show out for them with 24, but, just not a lot of those performances that you need to have to get those key wins at those key points of the season. So there are some positives to take into this next week. They definitely not the momentum they wanted going into the playoffs after losing the last two, but they do have some guys coming back that will allow them to make some noise once they get there.
All right. That is going to do it for us this week. We have a season recap video and our postseason preview will be coming out tomorrow. So make sure you stop by again to check that one out. But yeah, that's pretty much all we have for this video. Nick, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nope, nothing for me.
All right, boys. Thanks again for tuning in. Peace out.